Good morning, everyone. It's Robert. I've been having a lot on my mind, and actually not really a lot. It's just one thing. Usually when people say they've got a lot on their mind, it's usually because of just one thing that's just bothering them. One of my friends last night learned a new English idiom. She's going to Hawaii Pacific University, HPU, to study English. One of my new friends whom I met, and she said the new word was bent out of shape, or the new idiom was bent out of shape. So she said she was bent out of shape, and I asked why, and she said, oh, one of the Taiwanese, well, a friend of a friend was not nice to her, ignored her, and every time she would say hi, she'd ignore her. And I said, well, let me guess, she's also Taiwanese too, isn't she? And she said, yes, how do you know? And I said, well, chances are she's also very similar to you. And for some reason I've observed Chinese people treat Chinese people poorly. They don't treat white people badly. They treat them, their own kind, poorly. Okay, I don't know if it's observed in the other cultures, but I definitely have observed it in Chinese culture. Now, okay, for all you non-Chinese people out there, you guys got to give me feedback if it's true. You know, if your culture has this problem. Well, what I've seen is the idea behind Chinese mentality, a lot of Chinese mentality, not all, but a lot, is that there's a lot of jealousy involved, and there's the thinking, well, if you're entitled to something good and I don't have it, then I should disadvantage you in some way, or take it away from you, or something on that twisted, kind of like the crab that's in a bucket. The crab tries to climb out, but the other crabs pull him down. Kind of like that idea, that mentality. Well, anyway, so she was surprised that I had guessed it, but that's because I've observed it time and time again, especially amongst catty young females. And this is a poorly planned female we're observing in her new Volkswagen, too jazzed up in her new car to be thinking properly. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, okay, so a lot on my mind, bent out of shape. So she was bent out of shape, and I say, hey, don't worry. I told her, don't worry about it. Of course, when you're I guess a sensitive, tender girl, things like that would bother you when people don't say hi. You say hi to them 3 times and they just ignore you. Okay, I mean, it would bother me too. Okay, I'm a sensitive guy too. Okay. Okay, so okay, where was I? Okay, so the bent out of shape bit and what's on my mind. I've been tossing around the idea of challenging this guy to a race, because I don't know, I think it would be fun. You know, it'd be a new experience for me, but it would be definitely law-breaking, and I know I can't beat him on the twisties, because he's an experienced racer and he really goes down, and he knows how to really push the limits on his bike and make really sharp turns. Now, so I was thinking, well, maybe around the island race with no rules, you take your license plate off, and the stakes are the loser has to surrender his bike, almost like that TV show Pinks. I haven't watched it. I've only heard about it, where two people race. Well, before they race, they sign off the title to one neutral party, and they race. And what happens is when the winner gets both titles. They get both vehicles, and that's how it works. So I've been tossing around that idea, and I'm thinking, man, I'm too old for this stuff, because if you get nailed by the cops, and it's a felony, you go to jail, you lose your bike. And if you're working in certain industries that require a security clearance and you get a felony, you're not going to work in that industry again. So I think it's actually very foolish. Yeah, that would involve the job too, and that wouldn't be good. But I've been tossing around that idea because I actually know my daredevil limits, because I suppose you could say in my younger years I rode like a hellion on my bicycle and moped, and drove my car like crazy. As for the motorcycle, I know it's a lot less forgiving. I have crashed in a very big way, and I did get hurt, nearly died. So I don't know. You know, I think of these childish things, and it makes me wonder what my level of maturity is. Stupid, but there's still the wild side of me that thinks of these crazy things.